Well, hello there. I'm Alex Pearl, this is Alex Smells, and today we're going to talk about Judy, a Garland fragrance. Now, an old friend of mine, Philip Jeffries, does not want to talk about Judy, but guess what? I don't care what you want to talk about, Philip. You're a coffee percolator or something these days, so we're gonna talk about Judy. Judy was released in 2022 by Turnkey Beauty, and the nose behind Judy was Vince Spinato. More on him later. The batch code to my bottle is 22E10-ZV, and my bottle is in the Eau de Parfum concentration. I also wanted to note that there is this, there's something else called like Judy Garland, a 100th birthday fragrance or something like that by the same company and the same nose, and they were released at the same time, but they have different listed notes and different packaging, so I'm not sure, I don't know if they're the same juice in a different bottle with a different name, but some people's reactions to the other one, the 100th birthday, seemed to be very much different from what my experience was. So I'm thinking that they might be two distinct and different fragrances, but it's confusing. And I just wanted to clarify again, I'm talking about Judy, a Garland fragrance, and not the Judy 100th birthday scent. So I got the limited edition 3-ounce bottle with all of the elaborate packaging. You know, it looks nice from afar, but upon closer inspection, it is not all it's cracked up to be. So the bottle is, when you put it away, it's like awkwardly sandwiched in between the top and bottom of the box, and there's this like dense styrofoam foam thing at the bottom that's trying to keep it in place. But the top of my package arrived with a big rip in it, and it is, just to try to get the bottle out of the box is a struggle, and the struggle is in fact real. So I could understand why it arrived ripped. I think that whenever they were, like when they were trying to pack it up to ship, that whoever was doing it just kind of like shoved it in there and ripped the top. Like, thanks. The inside of the box, I'm sure you could see, is lined with this like reflective paper, and again, the idea is good. It's just the execution. When you take a closer look at it, it just looks kind of cheap. For this kind of price point, I expected packaging that was a little bit more sophisticated, and this just, it wasn't it. But hey, in its defense, the box has a magnetic closure, which is cute. That I like that. And the bottle itself has a pretty interesting design. Like, I like the look of it. The red color is clearly a nod to the ruby slippers. The cap does stay on nice and firm, which is cool. But again, there are some problems with this. The shape of the bottle is cool, but look at it. It is, I don't know if you can really like see, but it is top heavy. And when you've got this bottle full of expensive juice, and the bottle's made out of glass, the last thing that you want is for it to be tippy, which this is. There is also this plastic bit, this black plastic piece at the bottom that is removable. Maybe it's meant to like stabilize it, keep it from falling over. It slips off so easily that, you know, why even bother? Why not just have a bottle that's on its own stable? And the packaging did also come with this note from Judy's children, and they talk about their mom and how this fragrance represents her, and I thought that that was cool. Unfortunately though, there is an elephant in the room, and it's all over the packaging, and again, Vince Spinato, we will get to you later. We'll get to you later. All right, enough about the packaging. Let's talk about the actual fragrance. Let's discuss the accords as I smell them. Well, first of all, you're going to get a great deal of sweet. You do also get a fair amount of aquatic. I got more aquatic when the bottle was new and less of it now. It does have a tobacco vibe, not super pronounced, but it's there. You do get fruit, warm spice. It is a little powdery. You get flora, specifically rose, white musk, and amber. So how about the notes as I smell them? Well, I do get something that smells like ocean air, something that's fresh and clean and marine. I do get the pink pepper. I get rose, but a big deal was made out of like, oh, this fragrance features the Judy Garland rose. I've never smelled the Judy Garland rose. All I know is that this, to me, smells like a sweet, pink, fantasy rose, like a Bulgarian rose. I do get cherry. It's not a medicinal cherry, it is a sweet cherry. I get chocolate. Chocolate is a pretty dominant note here. I get tobacco, but it's not a smoky tobacco, it's just a warm tobacco. I get tonka bean, not a ton of tonka, but I do get some tonka. I get heavily vanillic amber. I get white musk. And I get something that, I get something like violet, something sweet and powdery. Now, when I first got the bottle, that sort of like marine ocean air smell and the pink pepper were way more pronounced when I would spray it on. Like the initial 5 minutes or so was very much that vibe, that like clean, fresh marine. But now that I've had it for a while, I've had this bottle for like 7 months, that's tamped down a lot, and it's a much more linear fragrance. Judy is still rich, it's multifaceted, it's alternately like warm and fresh and sweet and cozy, and it's kind of cool in that it does each one of these things equally well. By far the most dominant notes to me are the chocolate, the Bulgarian rose, and the vanillic amber. So it is a very sweet fragrance. But it does have some complexity. It does have some depth. Like I mentioned before, the tobacco note that I get isn't like smoky. It doesn't smell of like cigarette ash or like anything like that. It smells more like warm and inviting and cozy. And I feel as though it really pulls everything together. And it's kind of cool how you've got the like fresh and clean marine note and the pink pepper on one side, and then you've got like warm spice and the coziness on the other, and acting as a bridge between the two, you have the sweetness of, you know, the chocolate, the amber, and the Bulgarian rose. And throughout the whole experience supporting it, you've got things like the white musk and the tonka and the violet. So what is it that comes to mind when I smell Judy? This might sound stupid, but the thing that comes to my mind is a thing that I saw on the Liza with a Z special features. It was from a screening at the Toronto Film Festival of Liza with a Z after it was restored. And Liza was talking about her mom. She was talking about Judy Garland. So she was saying how people think of her her mom, Judy Garland, as like this super serious, like depressed, like morose person. And that's not at all who she was. Liza talks about how like what her mom's sense of humor was like, and that she was this total riot. And like most people don't even know, like they don't remember that she had a lot of life and energy and fun, and she was just a blast to be around. That's what I think of when I smell Judy. So let's tuck into some ratings. As far as scent goes, I'm going to give Judy an A. And it's a pretty easy A too. You've got this multifaceted fragrance that has many different vibes all at once. It is sweet, it is clean and fresh, it is warm and cozy, and the fact that it can kind of do all of these things at the same time, I think just the fact that it can pull together these disparate concepts and scent into one cohesive whole is impressive to me, and I really like the experience. So, A for scent. For projection, I'm gonna give Judy a D. Sadly, this was one of the most disappointing things about it. You spray it on, the sillage is average, and then a short time later it pulls into a skin scent and it's gonna stay there. At most, the average projection that I get is like half an arm's length away, so D. And for longevity, I'm gonna give Judy a C-. Judy stands up for about 3 hours or so before she needs another spray to keep her performance going. Otherwise, it's gonna taper down to basically nothing. So it's not exactly a strong performer. You do have to give her regular reapplications, I guess you could say, to keep any kind of palpable sillage going. Overall, I'm gonna give Judy a Garland Fragrance a B-. The scent is great, don't get me wrong, but the lackluster performance really makes it suffer. If it performed better, I'd give it an A, but it doesn't, so meh. Would I buy Judy again? No. I would expect that the performance would be much more solid paying this much for a bottle, and if I was going to spend that much, I would rather go with something like Angel's Share or Back to Black instead. If this bottle of Judy was around like 50, 60 bucks, yeah, I'd probably buy her again, but it's not, so no. Closing thoughts! I certainly don't regret buying Judy. I've enjoyed the experience, but I wouldn't do it again. She's a gem, all right, but she's irregularly cut. She's unique, but she's overpriced. Now, I want to talk about Madeline Ashton. No, I'm kidding, but I'm not. Let's talk about this Vincenzo Vince Spinato character, shall we? Like I said, Vince Spinato is the nose behind Judy. And this is supposed to be a tribute fragrance, right? But he has his name emblazoned everywhere on the packaging. Bruh. He has his name everywhere on the box, Bruh. On the bottle, Bruh. Online when you take a look at the fragrance. Bruh. Look, who is this supposed to be about? Really? I say put the focus where the focus should be. And that focus should be squarely on Judy Garland, right? I get it, okay? I feel like noses are underappreciated, undervalued artists, geniuses. They are both creative and technically adept. So they deserve more recognition. But honey, this is not the time, this is not the place, this is not the way. This was supposed to be a tribute to a legend, and you inserted yourself into every facet of the marketing. It is irritating. It looks self-important. It looks gauche. So I would have recommended that Vincenzo Vince Spinato maybe take a step back out of the limelight, just in this one instance, just this once, and let the focus lie on Judy. Huh? How about that? I know, strong feelings and everything, but I gotta be honest with you, that's the way that I feel. I also want to know, how is it that you out there feel about this? Have you smelled Judy? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you agree with me that it's pretty overpriced? What are your thoughts? Because I want to know, so talk to me. Well, no matter what you thought about her, I'm just glad, I'm glad that you're here. And thank you for watching. Have fun out there. I love you. And until next time, goodbye.